Welcome to the Lone Ranger Radio Show. My name is Bruce Woodburn. I'm the Lone Ranger, CrossCountry Mortgage. Been in this mortgage business game now for 32 years. And I'll tell you something, going strong. The market's still hot and heavy. We're having fun out there, helping lots of people, get into homes. A lot of first-time home buyers, move-up buyers, people that are buying vacation homes, cashing out money to renovate your home. We talk about all that on this show on the Lone Ranger. If you have questions for me, all you got to do is pick up the phone. You can call me. My direct phone number is 407-706-3313. That's 407-706-3313. Or you can visit my website at webringyouhome.com. That's webringyouhome.com. So on this show, we cover it all. What's going on with interest rates right now? That's always a hot topic. And alongside me is my dear friend and co-host of the Loveland Report and Lone Ranger Radio Show on Saturdays, my friend Cleve Loveland. Cleve, welcome to my show.
How you doing, Bruce? Thanks for having me on.
You're very welcome. Very welcome. It's going to be good to talk to you today. I want to get some updates as we go through the show, but we want to talk first a little bit about what's going on with interest rates right now. Are they holding steady? Are they starting to creep up a little bit? You know what? I got to tell you, it's like a magic show out there when it comes to interest rates. So 2.5 weeks ago, we lost in about a 2-week span, we lost 200 basis points on the market, which equates to about 2 points that it cost a client to get into a loan from what it was previously. And then this week, it's settled back down about 50 basis points. So we've recouped about 50 basis points on that. The market has been mostly strong this week. There were, meaning that when we see the stock market is doing really well, that's usually not good for mortgage rates.
Actually, last month was a good month in the stock market. So.
Yeah, so it was a good month. So we lost ground. And when you see your stocks are doing well, your 401k is doing well, you're all excited about that. But if you're ready to buy a house, it can definitely affect interest rates.
Interest rates, yeah.
It's so funny. I've seen people over the years, they're like, I'd really like my 401k to not do so well while I'm in the home shopping. But as soon as I close, I want it to do really well. Yeah. Right? So that no one else gets the benefit of that.
They're still really good. We're still low threes, right?
They're still low threes. Look at 15 years still in the twos, 30 year in the low threes. You could buy it down into the high twos. We've got so many really attractive programs, and the refinances, surprisingly enough, have not stopped. Yeah. They're still coming in, and I had some data, Cleve, that it was telling me that 80% of people that should refinance have not refinanced yet.
That's wild.
It's crazy, right? Yeah. I mean, because we know that we saw the best interest rates back in January. They're still attractive, but...
And this is people, people... I sent you somebody last week that had a rate. I was talking to him, and unfortunately it's a divorce.
Right.
And the rate was okay, but he's
got to get out.
I said, don't sell the home. Refi it. There's a lot of equity. Refi it. Pull the cash out. Keep the home.
Yes.
And then so you're going to help them refinance. But I run across people every once in a while. I'll see them there if they're north of 4.5, 5. If you're north of
4.5, you must pick up the phone right now. Give me a call at 407-706-3313.
Or if they got a bunch of bills they want to pay off.
So you know what? This is what I'm actually seeing the most of. Is since we have experienced a lot of appreciation in our home, then you have a lot of built-in equity, and it's time to cash in some of that. Now, what I also saw people doing during COVID is they were spending a little bit of money. They were out there, them credit cards got jacked
Amazon
up,
trucks at the house every day. Yeah.
I'm telling Amazon trucks at the house every day. You're parked at Home Depot parking lot on the weekends. I mean, you're at Bed Bath & Beyond one day. So the consumer spending kind of went a little haywire, right?
Yep.
So now you've accumulated all this debt, but you're sitting on some equity. Mm-hmm. Well, all the credit card debt, if you sit down right now and you add up your credit card debt, maybe your car loans, your boat loan, your Harley loan, your Boston Whaler, I don't know what else you have on there, but your Best Buy, add it all up. See what that number looks like. If you're coming up with 500, 600, 800, 1,200, and that's not uncommon for me to see that, I can pull money out of the equity of your home, pay that off, and reduce your expenses. But here's what I'm doing that's really blowing people away. And this is what gets me excited, Cleve. Let's just say your current payment's $1,500 and you're paying $1,000 in consumer debt. So you're paying $2,500, right?
That's your bills for the month.
So I refinance your home, pay off all your credit card debt, and let's just say your mortgage payment goes from $1,500 to $1,700. It went up $200. You got a net gain of $800, right?
Yep.
You're ahead of the game by $800 a month. You now apply that $800 to your mortgage, and you take that 30-year mortgage and you're paid off in 10, 15 years. Now you have no consumer debt and no mortgage in 10 to 15 years.
That's the great thing about that. Is it time to refi? They just need to call you. And sometimes you'll tell them no, but if there's a benefit like that, most other loan reps, the teller at the bank is not going to tell people that.
Oh, and your big lenders that you hear on the radio all day long, they will convince people. And I'm going to tell you, they got to be better salespeople than me.
Yeah.
Because I'm getting calls from you guys that are going like, yeah, I went to the spaceship guys, and they told me that they could get me this rate. And I look at it and I went, well, that's a really attractive rate. And I look at, well, of course they're charging you 2 points to get it.
Yeah.
That's not worth it.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Let's examine it and determine what is truly going to be the best situation for you. And you know, it's funny because I see some of those companies, they like to quote a low rate, but their closing costs are through the roof.
And then also another thing for refinancing, get rid of PMI, right?
Getting rid of PMI is another great reason to do that. So if you currently have an FHA loan and you've got built-in equity and your credit score has gone up, like FHA is a great loan if you don't have a lot of money to put down, if your debt ratios may be a little higher than conventional allows, or your credit scores aren't quite there. Yep. But now you bought a home a year ago, 2 years ago, you've got built-in equity. Now it's time to get rid of the PMI or the MIP, it's called on FHA, because it never goes away. It does not go away. Yep. And a lot of folks think that if they got a conventional loan and they have PMI, that once they hit 20% in equity, it just disappears.
Nope.
Does not go away.
Nope. It's like the 20th year, maybe, I think
it
fades.
So
right?
here's the guidelines, and a lot of people don't know this. They'll go, oh, I'm almost to that 20% rule because, you know, my house has gone up in value. First of all, the rule is that you have to be at 78% of the original purchase price. The original, not today's value.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And a lot of people don't understand that.
Yep.
Now, it is a mortgage company's discretion to remove it, but if they have insurance on it, why are they going to want to do that?
Yeah.
And in some cases they might. If you have questions and you want me or my team to examine your loan, you can call me on my cell phone, 407-706-3313. That's 407-706-3313. Or go to my website at webringyouhome.com. Cleve, let's talk about buyers in the market right now, because you and your team are helping a lot of my clients purchase homes.
Yep.
We got some investment homes you and I are doing right now. We have some home buyers that are in our Leapfrog program right now that are buying second and third homes, our first homes. So that's happening. What are you seeing with the market? Because, you know, you and I were seeing that if you were getting into the market, you were getting frustrated because you were up against 15 other offers.
Yeah. What's happened from the beginning of the year, inventory's been hovering. Inventory hit its bottom about 6 months ago of only about 2,800 homes for sale. So what that means is I put my houses on the market for like 5 days. I start on like Thursday, close bidding on Monday at noon, and I would have anywhere from 10 to 30 offers depending on the price range and the location and how well it showed.
Crazy.
And it was a bit, and I structured the process. I learned this in 2005. I've been doing this for 30 years, but that was the one time I kind of took this system back on and got the best offers for my clients, my sellers. And as a buyer, though, now you've got a little more wiggle room. Now, most of those offers, Bruce, even though there's 30 offers, nobody was going 10% above list price.
Right.
Most of the offers are 2, 3, 4% above list price, maybe. We'll waive the appraisal. We'll do $10,000 over appraisal.
Right. But limit what you're going to pay over.
They do. And that's where, and so it wasn't craziness there. And buyers are very educated now. On their smartphone, they can pull up all the last 5 sales.
Isn't it the truth?
And they know the last couple look better than the one they're looking at. And they're cautious, which is good. So, or their parents got burned in the bubble, or they did. But what I was seeing, the past 6 months, inventory's like level leveled off around 3,600 homes for sale, and that's about just under a month's supply.
Which is still low.
It's very low. And so now I get 2, 4, 5 offers maybe on a house. A hot one, I had a hot one below 400,000 in a great neighborhood last week. I got 10 on it.
Right.
So, but it's still, I think we're going to be in this kind of
It's not going to get better anytime soon.
I think it's a choppy market. And I think inventory next year, we're going into 2022. I think it'll probably push into the 4s slowly, and then it will slow down. And you think interest rates are going to rise next year a little bit?
I do think they're going to probably go up next year. But you know what? Here's the thing. I don't think we're going to see a skyrocket in interest rates in the next 24 months.
Or inventory. Yeah.
I think, or inventory. Now, it was ironic because I saw this news the other day that said the housing market is correcting. Houses went down by $2,000 last month, right? So they went from an average of 320 to an average of 318.
70% of all stats are made up, right?
I think 90%.
Think about that. Think about that. But it's, that could have been that there was a couple $5 million homes sold that month they did before, and they didn't sell this month. So,
right.
But that's what you and I do is you interpret people's personal needs for their mortgage. I interpret their personal needs for whatever house they're selling or buying because everybody's market is different.
For sure.
A buyer sometimes might want the nice big custom home, but good Lord, he grew up, mowing 5 acres with a push mower, and that's all he has nightmares about. He wants a little yard,
right.
Or somebody wants some space because they're tired of the HOA telling them what color their curtain should be, and they've got ATVs and they've got bass boats and they got company trucks. Whatever that person's, it's personal to every person out there. That's why you can't just look at a website and figure out how to do something or what you need to sell your home for.
Right.
I need to walk through it and help guide you on that. And getting a mortgage, they can't just click a button.
No.
And you need to tell them.
Well, they say that on these commercials, push button, get mortgage, right?
Yep.
So it's more than that. And I can tell you that is not the truth for any lender because we all have the same guidelines, but you want to make it as easy as possible for the client. It's really interesting that you're talking about the existing home sales being at, what'd you say, 3,600 homes? And that's a 1 month supply, right? We need a 6 month just to be a balanced market.
Well, and Central Florida hasn't had a balanced market. And let's say it's skewed way bad in 2008, 9, and
right.
10. And literally in 11, it went back to prices climbing.
Yeah.
So on inventory. What happens was sales slowed because everybody bought too many homes.
Sure.
So the sales dropped and the inventory jumped. So it was a bad storm.
And builders were greedy. So it's interesting because I saw some statistics on builders because right now we need builders to help the market. And the builders are not included in that 3,600. So I saw some statistics that new construction went up 100,000 units between August and September of last month.
Well, I heard, the builders were overbuilding up until 06 and 07, and then it all fell apart. And ever since then, since they recovered, they went out of business. Most of them went out of business and restructured over those couple of years. And ever since 2010, and I saw a talking head on one of the financial channels talking about this. It made perfect sense. Ever since then, they've only been building what they need for right then.
Right.
They're looking out maybe a year, and they might be accumulating some land, but they're not overbuilding. Like you used to go into a neighborhood and, we've got 7 completed.
Right.
And I haven't seen that since I haven't seen that in 12 years.
They won't. Their inventory doesn't last that long.
And now we got supply chain issues. Which drove the
we have
prices
supply
up.
chain issues. So, and when we come back from the next break, I want to talk a little bit about some builders and some builders that I really like that are offering some amazing products, great service, great price, and all over Central Florida. But it's interesting when I see clients right now that go to these builders, the builder will force the client essentially into using their own mortgage company. Now, they don't say that because that's steering and that's illegal. But they say, if you don't use our mortgage company, we won't pay $5,000, $8,000, $10,000. You have to use their mortgage company.
Yeah.
But then their mortgage company, whenever you guarantee business for somebody, the service level goes to hell in a handbasket. And I want to talk a little bit about that because you know me and Saladgate, I am all about service. I want service. So we'll be back in 5 minutes. We're going to talk a little bit more about what builders are offering and what you should look out for in this market. 407-706-3313 or Cleve Loveland can be reached at 407-352-8118. Sorry, I don't know why I lost your number there. Be back in 5. Welcome back to the Loner Ranger Radio Show. My name is Bruce Woodburn, the Loner Ranger, and it's a beautiful Sunday here. I got my friend Cleve Loveland that I am a co-host with Cleve on the Loveland Report and Loner Ranger Radio Show on Saturday. Welcome to the show, Cleve.
How you doing?
I'm doing great. So what a beautiful day to be out looking at property today. We're talking about buying a home and whether it's the right time to buy. We've decided that interest rates are still low enough that it's attractive to buy. There's still deals to be had out there.
Yeah.
Your buyer's agents are still negotiating deals. And you know what? It's so funny because they're negotiating deals and helping people get closing costs too.
Yep.
And people tell me, they're like, that doesn't happen in this market. I don't know.
Well, here's the thing. When you got multiple offers you're going up against, the thing is to get it under contract. And then if there's issues, you can backpedal some. And so let's say like we had one.
But you don't have a chance to do any of that.
You don't have to do that up front.
The deal.
So you get into it. And I had one that a bunch of stuff popped up. We got $40,000 off a $700,000 home because of some issues that popped up on assuming some solar panels. I don't want to get you started on solar panels.
Oh,
just don't.
Don't start me on solar panels.
You can't. It was hard up front. We had eight other offers we were competing with. So we went well over list, but we ended up coming back under list with the things that happened there and the future concerns from the inspection report of, hey, the roof's old. Wow, they put $50,000 worth of solar panels on a house that going to need a roof in the next 3 years.
Yeah, how do you get a new roof when you got solar panels on?
There's a bunch of money and a bunch of people involved.
I'm going to tell you something. Don't get me started on solar panels because if you want solar panels, just do yourself a favor call me first.
Yep.
And you can reach me at 407-706-3313. That's 407-706-3313 or webringyouhome.com.
Call me at 407-352-8118 or lovelandreport.com.
So I wanted to talk to you because I see when you buy new construction, the builder will say, we'll pay some closing costs for you, but you have to use our lender or you don't get the closing costs. Some of them will say, and you're getting some free upgrades, but you don't get the upgrades if you don't use our mortgage company. Why do you think they do that? Well, I can tell you why they do that.
Yeah.
Because they want to control the entire transaction. And it's
using the same lender, yes.
By using their lender.
Yep.
Now, and fortunately for some builders, I am the approved lender, but I'm only the approved lender for builders that offer the client options with lenders, which I'd love to be the only one, but you can have an option.
Yep.
But some of these big lenders, some of these big
builders have their own mortgage company.
The ones that starts with an L, the one that starts with the doctor, the one that starts with a K.
Yep.
So these we got a client right now who's buying one from one of those builders. Okay. And when the builder's lender is guaranteed to get the deal because they're extorting you into using their lender by waving a hot dog in front of your face of closing costs, the service level goes to hell in a handbasket.
Yep.
And they just well, I don't care. This is my rules. You do what I say you're going to. And it's like, that is the worst service level ever. You should always have to earn the client's business. And we've got a client right now that's buying a home from a production builder. They're only giving him $5,000, which doesn't even add up to the deed stamps and title policy.
And that's the thing. And you got to shop this because $5,000 on a $400,000 house is about just over a point.
Yep.
That's what it is. 1%
So he
loan.
is so fed up. He's so fed up with their mortgage company and the process of the builder that he's like, you know what, Bruce, you've done 3 mortgages for me. Just go ahead and do this one. I don't care if I get the $5,000 from the builder. If that's your case and you're frustrated, share your experience with me. I'd love to hear what that looks like. Call me at 407-706-3313 or visit my website at webringyouhome.com. But I want to hear your story. Call me. I'm waiting for your call, 706-3313. We'll be back in 5 minutes with more of the Loner Ranger Radio Show. Welcome to the Loner Ranger Radio Show. My name is Bruce Woodburn, the Loner Ranger. And alongside me, I have my friend Cleve Loveland. Cleve is the co-host with me on the Loveland Report and Loner Ranger Radio Show on Saturdays. I know you're all familiar with that program where we talk about buying and selling real estate. And I'm so glad to have my friend here on my show with me so we can really get a full idea of what's going on in the market right now, because it really does matter when it comes to buying a home on how you can become the winning offer on that, right?
Yeah. Well, I see a lot of people now, you don't have as many offers to compete against, but multiple offers are still a serious thing. You know, the seller's got options. It's not like you're saying, hey, take my offer or leave it. The seller's going to go, well, your offer's not that great. I might take another one. It's got a better price. It's got more money down. It's cash.
What do you think gets their attention? So when you're looking at all things even, what gets their attention?
Price would be number one, but then you got to look through it. You know, I see hundreds of offers every month. I mean, hundreds of all the home, and then sell my listings out of that. But, you know, the winning one is usually it's price, but also is the loan. I love what you do, fast tracking. And is that loan done? Have they just talked to the lender, a conversation on the phone? Did they even send me a pre-qual? You'd be surprised how many offers I get, Bruce. They didn't even send me a pre-qual.
You'd be shocked at how many people I talk to every day that think they're pre-approved.
And they just talk to somebody on the phone.
They talk to somebody on the phone. They might have pulled their credit, right? So they're like, and I'm like, oh, you're fully pre-approved by blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I am. Great. So have you given them a copy of your W-2s, your bank statements?
Tax returns.
Oh, no. I've been banking with them for years. They know everything about me. They do not have that information, and they're going to need it. Here's when they're going to ask you for it. A week before closing, and then they're going to go, well, we can't close that fast.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. That's what's going to happen. It's ridiculous. But my fast track program is a big leap beyond a pre-approval. So most banks are going to pre-qualify you and you think you're pre-approved. They're going to have a conversation with you about your income, your debts, your credit, pull your credit report up, and then write you a letter and send you out shopping. That's what they do. Then the better companies will say, before I write the letter, I need to see your W-2s, your pay stubs, your bank statements. Send me your photo ID and physically apply for the loan. Because how can you be pre-approved for a loan when you never really applied for it?
Yeah.
You can't.
Yeah.
It's impossible. And matter of fact, I think it's malpractice. So we want to make sure the client not only is pre-approved, but we'll go a step beyond that. And that's why you love Fast Track. Fast Track means that I've taken your loan, all your information, I've reviewed it, then I've given it to my underwriter.
It's done.
And they've approved it. So now here's what that does for me. And here's why I'm going to tell you why Cleve loves it. Because I will call the listing agent and I will guarantee the listing agent that I'll close their loan in 30 and even 21 days, or I'll pay the seller up to $500 a day for every day I miss the closing.
And don't forget the icing on the cake, the call
to the listing agent.
So,
yes.
and I don't, on my listings, I don't always have offers coming from you, but I love that. And when I know, and my buyer's agents love that when you do that for their buyers. The other thing I love, realtors, listen to this. When Bruce has a file, they are working on a mortgage for your buyers, it will be done. They will tell you this is a loan. This is going to be fast tracked, or no, they need to do A, B, and C, and then it will be a loan. I hate it when my agents used to drive around and they'd have somebody in the car and they hear about, oh, turns out they couldn't qualify.
Right.
And that lender didn't do their job. So after using you for the last 13 years, I don't have my agents wasting any time with unqualified buyers.
Well, you know what? It's misleading to the realtors, to the seller. It's even misleading to the buyer who thinks they're approved. And you know, it's ironic. I got a transaction right now. It's a repeat customer. It's a repeat real estate agent. But the real estate agent is after me to write a pre-approval letter for this client. Now, he's got 3 companies, okay? And I'm pretty confident he's going to qualify. However, on self-employed people, you have to have a profit and loss and balance sheet that's current within 30 days. It's the guidelines.
Yep.
Every lender has to have it.
Yep.
It's the guidelines.
Yep.
He does not have it. And he's for every day, it's like, well, my CPA is busy. He's not available to do my profit and loss and balance sheet. You want me to write a letter and sign my name that I'm going to guarantee your closing, and yet you can't give me your financials. Now, I won't do it. I'll write a pre-qualification letter, but I'm not writing a pre-approval letter because my name's on it. And then I've got to close that transaction. And if your lender is doing that, you're the people that we hear about on the news who had the truck, the moving truck the dog, the kids, and everybody lined up to go to closing, and
closing,
it didn't close.
And there's
on
no
time.
loan package. Yes,
That's the client. And we hear these horrible mortgage experiences. Well, you know what? There are some bad mortgage companies out there, but there are also people like me that say, I'm not going to do this until you are fully approved.
You tell me. I mean, you rescue deals from me. When I have deals fall apart on my listings, and what will happen is my transaction coordinator checks on the buyers on our listings. She'll check on them at least 2 or 3 times a week. And she knows, number one warning sign is when she does a couple emails and a call to the loan rep, and she gets no calls back for like 3 or 4 business days. Then she sets me loose on them. Right. And my phone call is, your buyer's going to lose this loan. I need to talk to your boss or you today. And if they don't call me back, then I call looking for the boss, because we've got a loan commitment date to reach. I've got seller getting ready to order that moving truck, and I don't have those things happen on my transactions. No. And if they did say, oh, wow, this lender can't get the deal done, we just found this out, I'm like, okay, tell me why. And they're like, oh, we're going to another lender. I'm like, no. You're not going anywhere.
As soon
but
as
over
you
to
say I'm
CrossCountry.
going to another lender, it always throws a red
Well, but
flag.
I've sent you over some, probably about one a month.
Lots of times.
And you tell me, and you rescue 90% of them. And then you're like, oh, whoa, this person should have never been in the car with the realtor beginning.
I'll know within about 15 minutes whether a client is truly going to qualify or not. So if you have questions about that, if you're uncertain of the lender, you're getting a lot of yes answers, but you don't feel like people are digging deep enough to make sure they protect your investment. Because as a buyer, if you're in contract to buy a home and you don't close on time, can the seller keep your money?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Do they want to? No, they want to close.
They want to close. But if you strung that seller along and they turned down other offers to take your offer, and your lender said you were approved and now you're not.
Realtors, my rule of thumb to kind of avoid stuff like that, I get a big fat deposit. I like about 3-4 months mortgage payments. And that it's, knock on wood, I haven't any of those fall apart. Because if they balk about it, I'm like, well, why? It's coming back to you. You need it for your down payment.
Well, and if you're putting 10, 20% down, put 10, 20% into escrow. Yeah. Why not?
Yeah. Show you're serious.
And if you want to write the winning offer, then show the seller that you're willing to play the game. 407-706-3313. 407-706-3313. That's the Loan Arranger's number. That's my direct number. Or you can apply online at webringyouhome.com. If you want to buy a home, you want the best lender that's going to take great care of you, give you great service, be here. I've got loan officers available 7 days a week.
Yep.
Okay. And I have a client the other day say, can I stop by and see you at your office? Of course you can. I do personal meetings. I do Zoom meetings. I do telephone. I think I can do courier pigeons right now for a loan. We're going to send you over your pre-approval by courier pigeons.
I wonder what that coop was on the balcony out here.
You didn't know what that...
overlooking Fairbanks here.
That's not chickens in there, although I would like to have some chickens. If you have questions for Cleve, you can reach him at 407-352-8118 or go to cleveloveland.com. We're always here to help you. The Loan Arranger also wants to talk about how to help different segments of the market that we have special programs for, like our law enforcement, our first responders, our educators, and our healthcare workers. So we've got a program because, the state and the federal government have no special programs for these folks. There are no programs. So we've got a program called Home Ownership Made Easy, where you can get up to $2,198 towards your closing costs. It's real money. Now, if you are a buyer and you're interested in getting that program and you don't have a real estate agent, you call me, because Cleve will also help you out on some closing costs. So if you're getting $2,198 from me, and let's just say that we're buying a $400,000 house, $350,000 house, they can get $1,000 to $2,000 credit from you. That's a lot of money in your pocket, and there's no strings attached to that.
Well, it's also getting it done right the first time. Most people are busy. They're buying a $400,000 house. They're probably working.
Right.
And they don't want to take a lot of time to do this. And I've seen people, when I get these offers I get on my listings, and I'll talk to the other agent, and they say, oh, yeah, they're great people. I've gotten to know them real well. We've been in the car for 18 months and written 13 offers.
Oh, my gosh.
Okay, well, that's why your offer is $20,000 below list when I told you there's multiple offers. You need to be $20,000 above list. Right. So I really want people to, when you do the process right, it shouldn't take a lot of time. It should not be stressful. It's a little exciting. It's a little nervous, but it should be an improvement of your other housing situation. Most people are moving right now, Bruce, because the house they're in, they've been in for 2, 3, 4, 5 years.
Right.
It's gone up. They got some nice equity. They're not really getting a bigger mortgage.
No.
They're taking that equity and just kind of transplanting it. They're getting a newer home, a smaller home, a bigger yard, whatever they might be looking for. And that's one thing. We got time. I want to mention one thing on
we do have a
qualifying.
few minutes, because it's funny that you say that, because one of the things that people have gained is a lot of equity, so they have more money to put down.
Yep.
But then where do they go? Where do they go from
How do we
here?
do that process? That's what I've been doing.
So you bought the home for $250. You're going to sell it for $380.
Yep.
But the house
And
you
they
want to buy
for
is
like
$550.
Yeah, even so. But what now? Depending on the market they're in or where they want to go, and we got to look around. But like when I'm pulling up active listings in an area, and a buyer tells me they want to be 475 to 550, and they need X amount of square feet and a pool, and only 3 listings come up, and we're talking about it, and I go over to talk to them at their house, and all of a sudden those 3 listings are pending, and there might be 2 new ones. Here's what you got to do. I can negotiate you a lease back where your house closes, and you can stay in the home for about 30, 60 days. Most buyers are okay with that in this market. And then, or you've got to qualify to buy without selling.
Right.
So they would talk to you about
that,
and you could do that. And you've got recasting, not refinancing. Yep. So let's say they put 5% down and they get the new home, and then when the other home sells, they got another $200,000 to throw at it.
Right. I can recap most of my mortgages. Almost all my mortgages, with the exception of VA, allow me to recast, meaning you got into the house, you only had 5% to put down because all your equity is in the other property. And you couldn't make an offer on the new one because nobody would accept a contingency.
Yep.
Right? So you bought the new one, put 5% down. Now you're sitting on $100,000 from the sale of your previous home. You can put that down on your new mortgage, get rid of the private mortgage insurance, and I'll reduce the payment to reflect the new balance.
And what I'm doing to help these sellers see what's out there is we'll go look at what they want. I put them in the car with one of my buyer's agents, Nanette or Mike, and they go out and say, all right, I want to see 475 to 550. They can see, okay, this is what's out there. I like this. Okay, let's do the lease back. Because if things don't work out and your house is under contract, you can't just tell the buyer, oh, wait, I need you to wait another 60 days. They're not going to do that. They got moving trucks coming. They might have a house they're selling. And so you want to be ready. You want to know what's out there, or you got to prepare to move in with the in-laws or the outlaws for a little bit. So we try and coordinate that as best we can. Buying without selling the old one is the best way to do it, because this market's hot enough.
If you can
I can get your other home sold.
If you can qualify for it, that's the way to do it. The other thing you can do is put a lease on your current home.
Leapfrog.
You can put a lease on your current home in order to buy the new one, so you don't have to qualify for 2 mortgages. But you do have to have a bona fide lease, and the lender's going to require proof of deposit into your account.
Yep.
So if you have those things, you can't show it as profit, but you can wash it.
Well, the Leapfrog program you came up with, all the things what you and I have learned from real estate over 30 years of being in it, and that's a great way to do it. Move out of that house. You got a great interest rate on it. It was your primary. You've been there for some years. The mortgage is 25 years old. You're building equity pretty good. You know it. It's in good shape. You rent that one. Go buy the new one.
Yep. And we do that 5 times.
5 times you go to get $2.5 million in real estate.
And making $15,000 to $20,000 in rental income. So you know what? I got to tell you, this has been a great show, and I appreciate you joining me for these last 3 segments. It's been a lot of fun. If you have questions for Cleve, you can reach him at 407-352-8118. If you have questions for the Lone Ranger, you pick up the phone and you call me at 407-706-3313, 407-706-3313, or go to my website at webringyouhome.com. When we come back from the next segment, I want to talk to you a little bit more about my special programs for law enforcement, first responders, and healthcare workers. And we'll be back in 5 minutes with more of the Lone Ranger Radio Show. Thanks, Cleve.
Thanks for having me, Bruce.
Welcome back to the Lone Ranger Radio Show. This is the last segment of the show, and I appreciate you guys taking the time out of your Sunday to tune into my radio show. A couple of things I want to mention. First of all, I am the proud sponsor of the K92.3 All-Star Jam coming up December 10th, and I hope to see you guys there. If you haven't bought tickets yet, you want to get them as soon as you possibly can. A couple other things, we will be announcing our next wealth building leapfrog program. This is how I can help young folks, and well, anybody, as a matter of fact, get into their first home and then leapfrog into rental properties from there. So you don't have to put 20% down every time you buy a home. I have walked people through this process, including my own son, on how you can buy properties, put minimum down, and accumulate wealth through owning multiple properties, and only be putting between 3 and 5% down on any house that you get. If you're interested in that program, call me at 407-706-3313. That's 407-706-3313. Or visit my website at webringyouhome.com. webringyouhome.com. A lot of things happening in the market right now. People get discouraged because of multiple offers. Don't get discouraged about multiple offers. I have a proven system that will help you get into that house and increase the odds of you becoming the winning offer by up to 70%. It's easy. It's an easy process. And you know what it takes? It takes somebody that cares about you that's on the lending side. Does your bank care about you? They're friendly. They have a nice smile. But you can't reach them after 3:30 on a Friday, and they won't call you back till Tuesday. So are they really an advocate for you, or do they just like your deposits? I think it's funny when people go, oh, I love my bank. They're so good. What do you love about them? Well, they take my money when I put my deposits in. Yeah, what else do they do for you? Well, they give me a car loan when I want a car loan. Yeah, they're very friendly. They're very nice. They know everything about me. No, they don't know everything about you. You want to know who to deal with when it comes to getting a car loan? Go to your bank. Go to your credit union. You want a house loan? You want a mortgage? Go to somebody that's going to help you get a great rate and be an advocate to help you purchase the home. What about refinancing? Is it better to go to your bank to refinance? Well, I can tell you this much. It's not. It's absolutely not. Banks are very restrictive on their guidelines. I'm a direct lender. I don't have any overlays. Okay, I've got programs that I don't need appraisals in some cases if you got a lot of equity in your home. Many cases, I don't even need your W-2s. I might not need your tax returns. There's a lot of things that I can avoid getting and still qualify you with a great mortgage. A great mortgage. Now, let's just say you're one of those folks that is self-employed or 1099, you make good money, you have good credit, you're driving around in a big F-150, okay, but you write off all your income on your taxes. You don't want to show me your tax returns. Leave your tax returns at home. I got a program. I'll look at your bank statements. I'll help you with your bank statements. And I'll qualify you based on the deposits going into your bank account. If you're interested in that, call me at 407-706-3313. Also, another thing I want to mention is my all-time favorite builder, Hanover Family Builders. I'm previewing them, so I want you to go to my website at webringyouhome.com. I want you to check out my YouTube channel at Bruce Woodburn, the Lone Ranger YouTube channel, and see this great builder, Hanover Family Builders. I'm previewing all of their neighborhoods, one a week for the next 18 weeks. And this is fascinating stuff. You want to find a great neighborhood? Then check out my website, check out my YouTube channel, check out my Spotify, check out my iHeartRadio channel, all there for you to be able to become more educated and a smarter consumer. That's the idea here. You want to be a smart consumer. If you have not refinanced yet, I want you to stop, pick up the phone and call me at 407-706-3313, 407-706-3313, or visit my website at webringyouhome.com. Get rid of PMI, consolidate debt, pay your mortgage off early, convert to a 15-year, all kinds of reasons to call the Lone Ranger. I will promise you, you will never be disappointed in a phone call and choosing me as your lender. I'll see you same time, same place, next Sunday or Saturday on the Cleve Loveland Show. We'll be back next week. See you then.